In 2019, I embarked on an adventure that would change my life. I ditched the rat race, cashed in my savings, and bought a forest in America's spectacular and verdant Pacific Northwest. My plan is to devote all of my spare time over the next few years to projects like off-grid cabin building, creating hiking trails and campsites, and general land steward projects as I transition this once-neglected woodland into a sustainable off-grid homestead. This journey wouldn't be possible without the dozens of YouTubers whose channels have inspired and empowered me. So I've decided to do my best to give back to the community and share my own adventures on this channel I call Lumbering Shenanigans. Thanks for watching.
Hi, thanks for joining me. So I have two things on my forest property that I'm now the proud land steward of. One is tons and tons of skinny little alder trees, which are basically everywhere, and they are a pioneer species, so they pop up super early and sort of re-nitrogenize the soil. So they're a great foundation for a little forest like this. And as you can see, they're absolutely everywhere and super skinny, and they outgrow each other and they die pretty quickly. So there's tons and tons of them. And they're about the size of fence posts. So they're quite useful for things around the property, although they rot down very quickly. The other thing I have is a few little sort of internal property boundaries that I'd like to mark out. But I don't want to do it in an obnoxious way with fences and fence posts. So I'm going to be doing dead hedging. Dead hedges date back over 1,000 years to the Anglo-Saxon period, and are still used today all over the British Isles as an ecologically sound alternative to modern-day fences. So this small area behind me that I've been clearing these really, really skinny alder logs from to allow a little bit more sunlight to get through to the greenhouse area, that's going to be the source of the dead hedge and for the stakes to support the dead hedge. I've never done this before, but it seems like something people have been doing for centuries. We'll see how it goes. The thinning of this overpopulated area has served two important roles. One, as I mentioned, is to allow sunlight through to the greenhouse and future grocery row garden. The other is to rescue 25 or so fir and hemlock saplings that have been struggling to survive in this one small area. My next task is to prepare the site for the dead hedge, consolidating decades of overgrown underbrush, brambles, dead vine maples, and accumulated debris that will all serve as the rich, compostable foundation of the final hedge, before layering the cut branches and thin saplings. One of the many benefits of a dead hedge is the long-term sequestering of carbon in the biomass used. As an alternative to burning, transporting, or chipping, this also creates a natural habitat for insects, birds, and fungi. It still amazes me just how much debris you can clear away from a forest floor and barely make a dent. This first experimental section of dead hedge I'm building will delineate between two different camping areas and is bisected by two converging paths.
Each of the 3 sections of Dead Hedge here will be about 16 feet long.
So the idea behind this dead hedge is that this slowly rots down, and the idea is to basically take these flexible, thin, whole trees, saplings I suppose, and weave them in and out, alternating, zigzagging them between these posts, and they will dry in place and become quite rigid. But hopefully this resulting fence will look kind of cool, sort of fits my overall vibe for the forest, and should delineate different areas of the forest while keeping the paths open. So I'll be building another one on that side. I may even plant some things to grow up through that, because it becomes very fertile soil underneath. So that's about all I have time for today. The sun's setting, so I've got to put my tools away and get packed up and settled into the camper for the night. But thanks for joining me for this. This was inspired by TA Outdoors and his very similar project that he's doing on his woodland in England, very similar to what I'm doing here in the Pacific Northwest. He was doing an experiment with some dead hedging a couple episodes ago, and inspired me to do the same here, because it's a really beautiful spot and I wanted some delineation between these two areas. So all of these alder that I'm cutting down are going to be used for this. These are all the skinny ones that I'm thinning out between the massively overgrown population of trees you see, like the one behind me, that have spontaneously grown up. Alder is exactly the wrong species to be doing this kind of thing with. As this dries, it becomes very weak and it rots down really quickly. But for now, this will be it'll be a nice look, and it should sort of compost down slowly and be habitat for all kinds of creatures, birds, and fungi and things like that as it rots down. But it'll always be here as a delineation, which I quite like, across this path here. So anyway, thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Feel free to subscribe, like, or share. And again, thanks for watching.